Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and I just hope that you can hear me. Anyway, I'll find out the hard way, I guess. Today, we're going to be talking about worry. And the reason I wanted to talk about this, because I really have to say it's amazing how much time we have spent wasting our lives worrying. And so I wanted to give you an idea of some of the things that happen in our lives and why worrying really doesn't have any effect on it whatsoever. So I'm hoping that this is going to be of value to some of you. All right, so hi there, Jody. Can you hear me? The reason I'm asking is because as I went live, I noticed there was a message to say it was setting up the microphone, and I'm going, I hope it's working. So it's one of those things where you go, okay, fine. All right, let's get this show on the road. So the whole thing about worry is it is a total waste of time. That is the essence of what I want to talk about today. So it now says my headphones are set up and ready to go. Yeah, just as well, right? So the areas of our lives, let's have a little think about this. You know, one of the things we try to do is keep our lives in balance, right? So we've got different areas of our life. Let's say we've got family and friends. We've got financial. We've got the famous money. We've got health, or lack thereof. We have got spiritual. I'm going to call it that because for some people it is faith, for some people it is spiritual. What's the other one? I'll probably come across it. I think there's another major one that I want to talk to. But let's have a think about this. So, that was financial. Duh. All right, we'll take that one out. So I think financial is the one that a lot of people spend a lot of time worrying about. So let me try and explain some things. People with good emotional intelligence don't worry about money. And do you know why? It's not because they're rich. Because there's some people who have great emotional intelligence who actually are not wealthy at all. But people with good emotional intelligence live within their means, right? They don't spend more than they've got. And if they haven't got much, then they adjust their lifestyle accordingly until they can get it down to where they can survive. You know, I love to use Jody as an example on a lot of things, but I think Jody epitomizes so many of the things that go on in life. Now, Jody had a good job, so did Lionel, and then Jody got sick. And then she got so sick that Lionel needed to give up his job to be able to look after her. Now, what sort of financial impact did that have on their lives? A huge. Do you think worrying about it changed it? Jody, did worrying about what happened to you change your financial situation? You see, the point that I want to make here is, what did Jody and Lionel have to do to get comfortable within their new financial situation? And what they needed to do was stop worrying and start adjusting. And so if you listen to Jody's story, the amount that they adjusted is amazing. Yeah, Jody's going, worrying actually made me more sick. I can believe that, you know? And so the trick here is to go, worrying is not going to help me right now. What's going to help me is adjusting my style. Hi there, Ireland. Good to see you. I found that as well when I retired. I was used to having this nice income coming in every month, and then I retired, and guess what? It was dramatically changed. Well, I needed to change the way I was spending money to fit into my new environment. Okay, so let's have a think about family and friends. We've got another viewer who's got a family member at the moment who is doing the most incredibly dangerous things. We understand that this family member has a slightly lower mental capability, and she's doing things that actually threaten her life. So the question here is, will worrying about it change that? Will worrying yourself sick about this family member change that? No. The only things that change it are either get her help. Now, here's the problem. The problem is she's an adult that refuses to get help. And so how selfish is that? Because what happens is everybody else worries about it except she doesn't. So there's part of me that goes, if she doesn't care about it, then isn't it interesting that everybody else around her is worried sick and she doesn't care? And, the argument is, well, of course, because she has, reduced mental capabilities. And my attitude is, if her mental capabilities are sufficiently strong that they are at risking their lives, then should they have should they have some sort of court order to help make decisions for her? That is my question. Because here in Canada, if I am incapable of making good choices about my life, then I think it's called committeeship. And then somebody else, will be appointed to look after me that way. All right, let me see what Ireland's saying here. If she refuses, being there as a support network, if she still refuses, let her know that you are there and make her realize that the burden isn't hers, but the weight on everybody else's shoulders. Yes, but my point is, Ireland, if the mental capacity is reduced to such an extent that they are putting their lives at risk, and seriously so, then, I don't think they necessarily will understand about, that other people are worrying themselves sick about it. And the point that I'm trying to make is, it's for her right as an adult to do what she likes with her body. But what I'm trying to do is to say worrying will not change this. All right? Action will, if you're allowed to. And if you're not allowed to take action, then you need to learn to let go. You know what I mean? You actually need to learn to let go. And just trust that, and do what you can in terms of talking to doctors and specialists and everything else. But other than that, very difficult situation. I'm sure some of you have had friends that are into, some serious addictions. You cannot worry them well, all right? You can hope for them. I remember okay, so Ireland's just saying, yes, I got you. I just got in, missed half the point. Okay, yes, right to autonomy, but if they are incapable of rational thought, and that's the difficult one, it's like pulling the plug on somebody in a coma. Very difficult one to discern, yes. And that's why I'm saying concentrate on what you can do, not on what you can't do. Worrying will not make her well. Worrying will not save her life. Taking action will. And or if you've done absolutely everything you can in terms of taking action, then you need to look after yourself. This is the difficulty with that. If you've I've had friends who have been, I've been addicted to cigarettes, but I've had friends who had some serious addictions. And what I found really interesting was, I didn't spend my life worrying about them. I acknowledged the fact that this was their life, and I would do what I can to support them in a healthy way. Like if ever they needed to chat, I was there, and I would make a point of chatting with them fairly regularly. But, you know, you can't change somebody else's life by worrying. That is the point that I'm trying to make. What about your health? Right? Now, I'm pretty sure that Jody will tell you, and anybody else, we got quite a few viewers that are, you know, pretty unwell at the moment. And, you know, they will tell you that worrying about it hasn't made an iota of difference. You know, we've got, Erin went in for a biopsy yesterday, the day before yesterday. Now, worrying about it is not going to change a thing, all right? She's just got to know that she's going to get a result, and when she gets the result, then she can make the next decision. Worrying about it is not going to change the result. By the way, I had a biopsy done, and it was interesting because, you know, it was like, okay, this is not good, right? And I went, oh, okay. And so, but, you know, the funny thing was, when I heard this is not good, I went, what do I need to do? Well, we need to cut out part of your back. Okay. Have fun. And, you know, so if some of you who were around at that time of my life, you know, you will remember that I actually sat upright in my doctor's office while he cut away part of my back. And he said to me, you know, there are not many patients I know that I could do this to in this way. And he said, so I've got to give you credit. And I'm going, yeah, just don't let me see the blood if you can help it, right? I said, you know, if I see the blood and faint, you know, will you catch me? He said, no, I'll be busy catching my scalpel. Nice guy. But, you know, the point was, there was no point about worrying about the result of the biopsy. And then when I had that done, when they incised that part of my back, it was really quite interesting, because about a week or so later, the doctor called and said, I need you to come back in. And I'm going, that's not a good thing. You know, I've had the biopsy, they've cut away part of my back, and now they want me back again. So I went back and I said, okay, what this time? And he said, I need to cut more. I went, what? And he said, you know, they checked the edges, the peripheral, and I need to cut some more. I go, gosh, you know, what is it with you guys? You know, can't you get it right the first time? And I said, okay, fine. Do I need to make another appointment to come in, or do you want to do it now? He said, you know, and he just looked at me and he went, you know, because the truth is, it's got to be done. Worrying about it, you know, really worrying about it can't change it. All right. Jody's saying, I'm applying Linda's 10-minute rule to my worry about my medical situation. I give myself 10 minutes a day and then I get on with things. Yes, give yourself 10 minutes for a pity party. I'm so sorry to hear. You know, Jody, you've been suffering from a lot of pain, and the heat has exacerbated the amount of pain. Yeah, it's accentuated the pain. So, you know, this is like, complaining about it actually doesn't change it, does it? You know, getting the air conditioner might help, right? And I know that's getting put in, but you understand, it's like doing something constructive can help. And so, you know, what I find really interesting is what I've noticed with you, Jody, is you are really doing things to help yourself. All right, so Alan's saying, think of it like this, the sweat from the heat. That's all your problems and worries leaving your body. Isn't that a wonderful way to think about it, Jody? Nice one, Ireland. All right, so as you feel all that heat and that perspiration, just think about, oh, that's good. All that bad toxin stuff is leaving the body. Great idea. Jody, would you be able to work with that? It's interesting you should say that, Alan, because, you know, some of you know that I'm on a 18-hour-a-day fast at the moment. I've been doing this for, yeah, exactly, sweat out the toxins. I've been doing this for a couple of weeks now. And for some reason, I just want to get this up so you can see how I'm doing on this. For some reason, I forgot to hit the go button last night, apparently. Okay, so we'll do that right now. It says he's having a problem. All right, never mind that. We'll just go into the fasting history. I can fix it later. But, this is like, I've been doing like 18 hours a day fasting. I did 18.1 hours, 18 hours, 16 minutes, 17 hours, 28 minutes. Why did that feel like a loser? 18 hours, 2 minutes, 17 hours, 50 minutes. I just couldn't wait that last 10 minutes. Can you believe that? And then 18 hours, 56 minutes. So my average is pretty good. So here is the interesting thing. Last night, for some reason, about 2 hours after I forgot to hit the fast button, I suddenly got really hungry. And when I say really hungry, I could feel this hunger pangs in my stomach. And I went, that is not good. Now, I could give into it and go to the fridge and go find something to eat, especially if I'd known I hadn't hit the first button. But, the truth was that doesn't help me at all. That is not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is to create a new way of life that actually is way easier than I thought. And what I'm trying to do is improve my health. Generally. Ireland is saying that I might be pregnant, getting those cravings. Well, if I am Ireland, this will be a miracle. Because there are a couple of factors in there that would make it, either the Immaculate Conception or else pretty impossible. I love it. Yeah, I'm laughing too. But the interesting thing is that what I wanted to say, yeah, that's right. The Virgin Mary did it. So, it's possible to do, right? So here's the thing. Will worrying about being obese change my shape or my health? Worrying. Is it going to change it? No. How many different ways have I tried to lose weight, to your knowledge, in the last few years? A lot, right? It's a bit like quitting smoking. I tried every single way there was to stop smoking until the key was Juliana. All right. I kept trying and trying and trying. And for some reason, my mind just didn't want to quit. And that's, that's okay. I can forgive myself for that because I have quit. But I'm looking at it this way, which is, I cut down my calories. That was good. Then I cut down my carbs, more calories, adjustment, which was good. But it still wasn't shifting the weight. And therefore, there's something wrong, when I say something wrong in my body, if I went out and exercised, I understand that might change a bit. But then I thought, let me just try this. Let me try this fasting thing. But what amazed me was how much I worried, because we are programmed to eat 3 meals a day plus snacks, right? And I think the interesting thing, Jody, is that's the biggest hurdle, is to get away from that 3 meals a day thing. And so now it's really interesting, because instead of worrying about it all, I know that I get to prepare a nice snack for when I finish my fast. And I don't worry about what I'm going to eat. I plan it and I make it and I have it ready. And then I have that at about 5. It's going to taste so good today. And then normally at about 8, I will have a meal. When I say a meal, that would be a regular meal. I don't worry too much about what's in it. I sort of, don't overdo it, but to me, it's like the meal. And then around about 10 o'clock, I have another snack. And when I say a snack, that's my treat, right? I have my forbidden fruits at that time. When I say forbidden fruits, I'll have a super frosty, or I'll have whole wheat bread, something that I consider to be a treat. And because I'm only eating in that small space of time, I can, balance these things out. And what is incredible, I had a big eating weekend last weekend. And Jody, I think it took me 3 days for my blood sugar to calm down from that. And I didn't think I ate that badly over the weekend, to be honest. But, my blood sugar levels said I did. So worrying about my blood sugar levels being elevated, not going to change them. Right? I've got to do something to change them. And so what I did was I intentionally, even though I was fasting, I intentionally worked out what can I eat that is healthier than normal. All right. Because what I want to do is to get my, little gremlins in there eating up the bad stuff. Now, to eat up the bad stuff, I need to fast for more than 12 hours. Once I cross that, then they'll start eating up the fats and stuff. Hey. So this is very, very exciting to me. As soon as I hit 12 hours, I go, oh, now they're going into the good stuff. And it's like, when I felt that hunger pang at about 2:00 this morning, I went, this is not a good thing. Don't even try this with me. You've got another 16 hours to go. So I grabbed my, this is licorice tea. Licorice and ginger, I think, in here. Licorice and ginger tea. And, it's like I'm hungry, I will sip on this. There's something about just that little bit of flavor in the tea that just calms down everything. So it's wonderful. Now, the other thing that I am aware of is that I still continue to have my coffee. And, part of me started to worry, well, maybe this is not a good thing because you have your coffee and, you've got stuff in your coffee. And I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it. I don't care if it isn't the perfect fast. Because what I am doing is far healthier than what I was doing 3 weeks ago. All right, because I've noticed that my need for sweets has changed, sugars, quite dramatically. And the other thing I was saying to Lauren, because Lauren was saying that when she was doing this as well, and she's doing it really well, she was saying that she gets, these cravings for something sweet. And I said, I found the answer to that. I make sugar-free jelly for those in England. I make sugar-free Jell-O, and I make about 6 helpings out of 1 packet. And so it's just a small level of Jell-O. And then when I get at what I call a need for something sweet, I will literally take out that little piece of Jell-O, I'll put it in a bowl with half a banana and some whipped cream. Who knew that whipped cream was okay? That was a very good day for me. That's a good fat. Mayo is a good fat. You're going, yay. I'm pretty sure, Jody, but I haven't looked it up. I've got a feeling that my basil made from olive oil must be a good fat as well. What's your sense of it? Anyway, so what I'm noticing is that things, are changing. I'm not worrying about it anymore. So the point that I'm trying to make is, Jody's saying you're seeing results. That's what matters. I'll be really excited when I see more results. So at the moment, I'm just in that space. I wanted to just give, for example, what's going on, with selling the house, because this is another possible stress area if I want it to be. So the house has been on the market for a while. There is no movement in housing at the moment. It's very, very dead. And basil is like marjoram. but it is olive oil based. They have different sorts of basil. And the one I use is olive oil based. So, can't be all bad. Anyway, so here's the thing. So, in a, whatever, I've probably been a month now that my house has been on the market. I've had about 3 people in a month that come to see it. And should I be worrying? No. I can't see any value in worrying. I've got top realtors looking after it. I know they're good. I have to trust they know what they're doing. And it's not for me to worry. It's for them to do their job and give them room to do it. And so to me, this is like people saying to me, well, aren't you concerned? And I'm going, I can't afford to be concerned. That would affect my health. You see, Jody, did you understand what I'm saying? That I'm really aware that worrying could affect my health, which in turn could affect me even more. So I don't have time to worry right now. I don't have the inclination to worry. I don't have the need to worry. All right, because I believe, luckily, I have faith. I believe that everything will happen as it should. Now, to be quite honest, I did think that by now I would be in my new place. And I keep thinking, can you remember that I actually canceled that deal? I canceled that deal with the fifth wheel thing. And I now realize, however much it upset everybody, it was the right call. Because here we are, it is now mid-June, and I still haven't sold my house. So that was the right call. Even though it was very difficult for me to break a commitment, it was the right call for me. Yes, Jody, I've done what I need to do. Right? I can't, that my part was to get it ready to go on the market. And, each time I get a call going, okay, can we show it? It's really interesting what happens to you when you get that email or the call or whatever, when they say, we'd like to show it in 24 hours or whatever. Your instant thing is stress. And I go, whoa, you don't need to stress. You don't need to worry. You don't need to stress. There is a system. I think, Jody, you were talking about this not so long ago. I got this down to a system. The house is 80% tidy all the time now, which is like unheard of for me. So there are normally 2 rooms that I untidy, and that is the kitchen and my bedroom, because I live in those 2 rooms. And so those are the ones I have to be, and occasionally my studio. But studio is okay because I got permission to leave that messy. I'm an artist, give me a room, for goodness sake. So what I find interesting, though, is as soon as I get that call, I think, okay, fine. I've got the system down that I can tidy up my house to showing condition in about 4 hours. Now, that sounds like a lot. But what I do is I do the night before, I tidy up everything before I go to bed. And that relieves, I don't need to worry. Most of it's done. So when I get up the next day, the only things I need to do, oh, by the way, Clarence, the cleaner, my robotic cleaner, goes around the house for a few hours the day before. And then the day of the showing, I go around and I dust, just spot dusting, because basically I dust all the time, but I just spot dust and then, I put things out on the decks to make it look pretty. Things that I don't keep there all the time because of the rain. We had torrential rain here. So I've got this down to 2 hours the night before and 2 hours the day of, and I'm done. So there is definitely a lot to be said for living this way. That's the lesson I really have to tell you, that I think part of me goes, when I do sell, and I do believe that I will, when I do sell and move to my next place, it'll be very interesting to see how little I unpack and keep. I think I will unpack a lot of things, but it'll be interesting to see if I systematically start purging as I unpack. In other words, the things that have been down there for a year that I thought I need, I realize that I really don't because they've been down there for a year. Make sense? It's just like I have lived without those things for a year. They're not essential to my life. Now, some of them would I like to keep for whatever reason, yes, and that's okay. But it's just like I now know that the stuff that I really need is the stuff that is still upstairs. The stuff that's downstairs is superfluous to my need. So, my point is, worrying about the house selling is not going to help my house sell. Trust it. I'm going to trust that my realtor knows what they're doing, and they do. I'm going to trust that the reason that it's slow is because the market is incredibly slow. And I'm not going to blame it on my realtor, right? Because that's negative energy. I'm not into that anymore. It's just a waste of my thought process. And so what I wanted to do is to ask you all, what is it, that you're worrying about? One of the things, Jody, I find it really interesting, when you talk about your pain management, all right, there are certain things that you can do, all right, and perhaps you could just type a couple of things for me so I can just share this with people. There are a couple of things you can do. There are some medications you can take, but they don't get rid of the pain. They numb it a bit, but as far as I know, they don't completely get rid of it. So what you have learned to do is you've learned a new way of coping with pain. And it's like, I am pretty sure that if somebody had come to you 20 years ago and said, I just want to tell you, you're going to live with this level of pain on a daily basis, you probably said, no, I won't. There is no way I'd be able to live with that level of pain every day. And yet here you are 20 years later. And you not only are doing it, but you also are living a life that really is pretty amazing in my view. You've lost over 80 pounds. That shows that you are working on what you can do, not on what you can't do. And the question I have, is there any chance that losing the weight will alleviate some of the pain? That would be a question that I have. The other thing was that I did a broadcast, I think it was a vlog not so long ago. And in that, I talked about being obese and how many people, when I say to them, well, I'm obese, so I'm working on this, they say, oh, no, you're not. I go, yes, I am. Technically, I am. And I am working towards being overweight. I never thought I would say this in my lifetime, but my goal is to be overweight. It's funny because a couple of people wrote to me and said, thank you. And I'm going, for what? And then they said, for actually talking about that it's okay to talk about being obese. I'm going, well, of course it is. It's what I am. And, I don't worry about being obese. It's a reality. This is what obese looks like, right? So to me, to pretend that I'm not obese is lying. And, that's living in Disneyland because you cannot be my weight and not be obese. And I'm going, well, I'm fairly tall, so, I carry more weight. Yeah, right. I can come up with 1,001 excuses. But the truth is, this is obese, right? This is jiggly. It's not terrible, but it's obese. This looks even worse at this angle. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I I want to get rid of these. I think I'd look a whole lot better without the double chins. What do you think? I know it's difficult to look better, but, I think if I can, yeah. So, what I'm looking forward to is overweight. Now, I've got a long way to go to get to overweight. Scary stuff. But, when you think that Jody lost 88 pounds and she can't exercise because she's in a wheelchair, well, she could if she really wanted to. I was saying to Jody, just for the heck of it, go out one day and wheel yourself halfway down the block. Okay, so here's what Jody's saying about losing weight and the pain. She said, losing the weight has helped relieve a little bit of the pain. Hopefully, as I lose more, it will continue to help with that. Some of the aspects aren't going to be relieved by the weight loss. That's what I thought. So the truth is, Jody, and this is the interesting thing to me, the truth is that you could say, what's the point of doing all this? It's not really going to help that much. But you're not saying that. What I hear you're doing, what you're saying to yourself is, I want to get out of obese and I want to, like myself, I want to get into overweight. And, however big that goal is, that's what you're heading for. I think that is such a great goal. And of course, Lauren is doing the same thing. Lauren saw a picture of herself sideways on and didn't like the look. And that's when she decided, okay, fine, I'm also going to try this fasting stuff. And she's been doing an awesome job of it. The interesting thing that I found, though, and I wonder if I'm the only one that's fasting and does that, I am amazed that I can do 17 hours and 56 minutes and feel like a loser because, I didn't do the last few minutes. And I'm going, it's insane. You just fasted for, 17 hours or something. That is awesome. And anything over 12 hours, right, is gremlins are busy gobbling up the bad stuff time. So I'm going, that's 5 hours of doing that. I think Ireland made a very good point as well. If you can look at things that are going on, I for example, when I get the hunger pains, Ireland, one of the things I say to myself, that's good. That's good because now I'm hungry, which means things are going on down there. And, it is amazing how if you can just distract yourself a little bit from, it's way easier than giving up smoking. And quite honestly, it is way easier than a lot of the weight loss things that I have tried. There's something just about it. You just, you go, okay, I now eat between 5 and 11. That's when I eat. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do if I need to go out and visit people during times that are not 5 and 11. Either I'm just going to have to take my own, drink with me and go, hey, I'm on a fast and thank you so much. But, there's also an aspect there that I don't want to be that rude. So, I'm going to need to let go of having to fast every day if that happens, right? And go, it's okay to fast 6 days a week if you want to. Now, whoever knew that would be an issue? I'm going out tomorrow to go and see my friend Marnie. And, she lives an hour and a half away from me. And I offered to do the drive because she has an older dog, not Grover, but she has another dog called Bella that is, a little bit older, quite a bit older. And she's a bit concerned about. So I said, don't worry, let me drive to you. I don't really mind as long as I can spend time with Marnie because she always makes me laugh a lot. It's good for my health. And, it's like, I know that, she also has challenges with her weight. And so I'm going to be talking with her about what I have found and see, what she has found, because it is no point worrying about it. right? Either do something about it or stop worrying about it. And I think that is the difficult thing. And the distraction is really important. You heard Jody say that when she gets into pain, distraction is a major part of her coping strategy with pain. She will if she has taken the medication and she can't take any more medication, she will distract herself from the pain. All right. Now you're going, but the pain's still there. Yeah, the pain's still there. But she's not concentrating on it. Jody, would that be a fair way of describing it? And the same way as if I get a hunger pang, right? I don't concentrate on the hunger. I concentrate on what can I do to distract away from feeling hungry. All right, Jody's saying, medication to help with pain relief includes picturing of the pain as a molten lava in the body, as a sphere that moves around and eventually out of your body. Also, just a relaxing meditation helps. Hi, Carrie. Yes, and I absolutely agree with you that if we can get, inside our body and move that pain along, that is an awesome thing to do. I told story many times about being in hospital once, and they actually thought I was dying fast. My blood pressure was dropping so fast and they couldn't control it. And I remember the doctor saying to me, if you know any way to control your blood pressure, do it now. And I looked at him and said, what makes you think that I can? He said, I'm just hoping that you can. I said, actually, I think I can. He said, do it now. Because if you don't control your blood pressure now, we can't. And you will be leaving hospital soon, but you'll be wrapped in wood, So I went, okay, I got that. And, I literally took that moment not to worry myself sick. What I did was I literally thought inside my mind, and I traveled inside my body in my thinking, my meditation, and I got inside my heart and I started to push my heart at a rhythm that I thought it should be working at. And at one stage I sort of thought I should have checked what I meant to be doing here. But, the funny thing was it worked. The reason that is I'm here talking to you today. But, it worked. So, Jody, I think the fact that in your meditation that you can actually think about even going inside your mind and then sweeping, just sweeping the pain into a different area or out of your body is a wonderful thing to do. And, it's, maybe you'll try a leaf blower one day, see if that works well for you, right? One day imagine it that you're sweeping with an old-fashioned broom, and then next time go in there with a leaf blower. I would experiment to see what works best. Trying to think what else. I'm thinking a front-end loader type thing. Can you shift it along with a front-end loader? Have you considered going over it with a lawnmower to see if that chops it up a little bit? I want to tell you, Jody, from my experience, these things can work. You just need to just keep, use that as your distraction. How many different ways can I think to move it? Get Lionel involved as well to come up with ideas, and write them all down. And then each time you get a pang, go, okay, let me try the next one, see if this one works. And, I've got a feeling that you could even spend a bit of time packaging it up really nicely, wrap it nicely in a box, and then have UPS come and get it. Go, okay, there you go. It's all yours. And let them take it away. See if that works. Or you could have Amazon arrive with a box of Pure Bliss. And, the different ways that you could receive that, maybe it's something you pour over your head and it covers you. Maybe it covers you in some sort of protective thing that helps you not feel the pain. Your vlogs worked wonderfully this morning, very soothing. Thank you. Which one? Did you like the one with the restaurant, right? It was so funny as I was editing that vlog. I could just hear you going, "I'm not surprised." You know, I could just hear you saying it, and it was so funny because, as I said, one of the interesting things I find about editing vlogs, impact was fantastic. I want to tell you something. You know, I'm certain some people would have been upset because I didn't, you know, have a lot of footage of Benji or anything. But Benji and I now agree that when we eat, it's about us. It's not about vlogging. You know, we spend enough of our time vlogging. I no longer need to do it when I'm with Benji, because I only get to see him for a couple of hours a month if I'm lucky. And you know, that's very precious time to me. Yeah. And so, but I'm glad you liked the story. And, you know, I think the interesting thing about having impact is that I really, when she first said, "It's great to see you back again," I really didn't think she recognized me at all. You know, and then the more she talked, the more I realized, you know, and she started to talk about Marnie, and I went, "Oh, she does know who I am." And then she, you know, the story got bigger and bigger as I told the story and impact. But, you know, it was just like, wow, you don't realize the impact you have on people, right? Without really realizing. And so to me, Ireland, are you still here? Because to me, part of what I wanted to try and explain to people is, you know, is that we have impact without realizing it. And, you know, oh, by the way, I forgot the best part. Not the best part, but another part. When I first went in, I thought I'd parked in the wrong place. I don't think I talked about that in the video, but I thought I'd parked in the wrong place. And so I said, "Listen, I parked in this place," and I tried to describe it, "and I don't know if I'm legally parked. I don't know if it's part of your parking area or not." And the guy who is the maitre d' just looked at me and said, "Say that again, where the car is parked." And I said, "Well, you know, I passed the dumpster on my right, and then there's a little thing to the left, and I went in there, and then I parked over there." And he went, "Okay, let me go check for you." I said, "What?" He said, "Let me go check for you." And this guy walked all the way into the car park and all the way around the back and past the dumpsters and checked that my car was safe. Now, you understand why I go to this restaurant. Who wouldn't want to go and eat somewhere where they care about you that much? And I kept saying, "You don't have to do that." He said, "I know. It'd be my pleasure." Thank you. I don't mind if you do. And part of me goes, I don't know about you, but I like being treated that way. Right? There's something old school about that is just like, we don't see that anymore. Jodie's saying, yes, that greeting she gave me was not the stock standard greeting. But, you know, it was something in the way she said it that I just couldn't believe that she would recognize me after all this time. So part of this whole thing about worrying that I want people to understand is it is a total waste of time. Now, if you spent the same time coming up with possible ideas, that would be useful time spent. But worrying is a total waste of time. So I could, for example, spend time going, okay, now, if the house doesn't sell in 6 months, what am I going to do? But, you know, why would I do that to myself? Why would I start planning what to do if it doesn't sell in 6 months? All right. You know, there's part of me that goes, will I be bringing negative karma onto the house? I just keep going to bed at night saying, I know that the perfect buyer is out there and going to find my house. That's what I am concentrating on. As you can hear, that went down the wrong way. Excuse me. I think I can still talk. I don't. You all know how your esophagus goes down. It's like things go down your throat, and this muscle opens up and the liquid goes down, and then it closes and pushes it down to the next bit, which closes. Well, apparently, so I'm told by doctors and things. When God made mine, he got a little bit screwed up that day, because mine every now and then both open and then both close at the same time. And I can remember once, I can't remember why I had to swallow. It was so funny. I can't remember why I had to do something. And the doctor said to me, do that again. I said, what? He said, swallow again. And I did. And he said, do you know that your esophagus doesn't work properly? And I go, yeah. And he goes, do you choke a lot? And I said, not really, no. Occasionally, yes. But really, no. I'm very grateful for the fact it works as well as it does. How many of you agree with me? It's like, if I got that problem, I'm pretty glad that it only happens every now and then. All right, Carrie, again. All right, I'm drinking caffeine for the first time in 48 hours. Hopefully my headache will go away. Okay, so do we know what's causing the headaches, Carrie? And is it migraine type headache or just a regular one? Caffeine is good for headaches, isn't it? Actually, part of the reason that you can have the headache is because you're not drinking the caffeine. There's also that side of it as well. Yeah, the migraines, right? You see, I find this really interesting. Have you noticed this in life? I'm sorry to say this, and Kerry, don't run with this, because this is not about you. This is generally. Have you noticed that people very rarely have colds anymore? Now they have flu. All right. It's like they skip the cold, and I now have flu, right? And then, yeah, that's what I was wondering, Jody, whether it was caffeine withdrawal that's helping cause the migraine. I tell you what I found. Hi there, Emma. Good to see you. The other thing that I have found. All right, hang on a second. Let me read what Emma's saying here. She's saying, hi, Sal, I'm trying to use the phone, but the chat window didn't appear unless I switched to desktop mode. Jody is the expert on that, all right? She does the whole broadcast on a phone, and also, goes and researches as well. So where do you find the chat on the phone, Jody? Emma, just help me with that comment, which means I can't watch Cam. You got me a little bit confused with that one. All right, so which window? The one with the chat in it? All right, we'll wait for Jody to have an input, but I've got a feeling that on a phone, you have to sort of make a decision whether you want to watch my face or read the text. I think, if you can read the text, but then you're going to have to listen. All right, this is beyond my pay grade. I'm going to let Jody do what she can with that one. Let me deal with what Kerry's saying now. Stress and being sick, the weather, the caffeine withdrawal, migraines. Yeah. Okay, so I found that what I found, Kerry, is that a lot of my where in your head do your migraines hit you? Because I've noticed that I've now got a point at the base of my ganglia, I think it is, that gets triggered and under stress. And 9 times out of 10, if I, for example, didn't know that I was stressed out this week until I had an ocular migraine. And I'm going, well, if you didn't know you were stressed, that's pretty on your right, okay? And low down, Kerry? You got here in time for the Heimlich maneuver, yeah. To help me from choking. How can you imagine? You are so kind. I'm glad you're here. And you get ocular migraines in the left eye. I get mine in both for some reason, because, but, the thing to know is, okay, if this is stress, that's why I wonder where, because mine, the actual pain is here. And then the ocular thing obviously is to do with the eyes. And I get that prism thing happening. And when I get the two together, I go, okay, fine, time to stop. Stop the brain. The brain is overworking on something and I need to stop it. That's so cute, Emma. I love the fact that you wanted to give me the Heimlich. Yeah. For those of you who don't know what that is, that's when people are choking, you actually hold them just under the rib cage here, and you hold them from behind, and you really give them a sharp pull in, and it will sometimes force the obstruction out of the throat. You can save somebody's life. All right, so Kerry's saying, I've been pumping fluids and Tylenol, and now I'm pushing caffeine. So, it's interesting because to me, Kerry, the best thing I can do when I have that sort of a headache is go to sleep. The best thing, this is just from, and take the Tylenol and go to sleep. All right, and give your body time to process the Tylenol without any further distraction. Now, it is the weekend. Oh, are you working today? She's so clever, isn't she, Emma? All right, so Jodi's answer to Emma was, I press live chat that's next to the thumbs up and thumbs down button. See, I knew Jodi'd have the answer. She's so smart. You'd never believe it, but if you looked at her, but she is. So, yes, she is incredibly smart, and does this with pain. I was thinking as well, Emma. You deal with a lot of pain in your life, and I'm amazed at what you. Jodi just got that. It's amazing, all right, that you guys do what you do with what you have. Kerry's saying, I've been taking naps every day and hoping I can keep my lunch down. Well, the thing is this, that if you have migraines that cause stomach upsets as well, I'm really lucky with mine. I must admit, when I get a migraine, I just get the ocular bit and this, very interesting, feels like somebody just, took a stiletto into the base of my skull. But, I don't get the upchucking or anything like that. I'm just fine. What I'm concerned about, though, Kerry, is the amount of migraines you appear to have. What does your doctor recommend you do? Because, I think about Yvonne also struggles with migraines a lot. And, she has a whole regimen of things that she does with a migraine that seem to help. Well, you see, yeah, Emma's saying about the pain. Listen to this, people. Emma's saying, and this is exactly the thing I was saying about Jody. Emma's saying it's amazing what you can get used to, Sal. It becomes the new norm. Yes, this level of pain becomes normal. All right. And so it's not, whereas normally that would have been debilitating. Now this is the normal pain. I only react when it's normal +3. I think that's really interesting. I would, in a way, Emma, I would compare the fasting to that. I used to wake up and think, what am I having for breakfast? Right? Regardless of what the time was, what am I going to have for breakfast? Because that's the conditioning. My new norm is how many more hours, right? Until breakfast. And I eat breakfast at 5 o'clock in the afternoon now. All right, so Kerry's saying, I can't take prescription migraine meds without getting really sick. So what I do with that. Yeah, do you find showering helps, for example? Sometimes, the rhythm, the warmth, and the rhythm of a shower can help, I believe. All right, so Emma's saying the positive side is that people with chronic illness are hyper aware and know their bodies exceptionally well. And it's why we have a love-hate relationship with doctors. Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's so funny because I keep going to the doctor and going, I've got a feeling that this is not meant to still be happening. And I'm playing the game, I've gone through the fact that it probably is sleep apnea. And then that wasn't the answer. And then, okay, fine. So then maybe what it is diabetes. Yeah, well, I got that too. And I'm going, okay, fine, but I'm still having these problems, people. So what's next? It's just like, and Jody keeps saying you've got an autoimmune problem. And I actually said to him one day, Emma, is it possible this could be an autoimmune thing? And his answer to me was, I'd like to rule out a lot of other things first. Okay. So Jody, I'm waiting for the day that he actually does decide that maybe it is. And then, I will continue to call you Dr. Jody. But I'm not going to worry about it. You see, that is the difference, that I am so grateful, quite honestly, I am so grateful to be as healthy as I am. And I have noticed something that I've got to be really careful of. I have noticed that when I sit on my bed, using I don't know about the rest of you, but I am now what I call a multi-mode digital person. I have noticed that I literally will have my television on without the sound. I will have my laptop where certain things are happening. I will have my tablet where I'm busy playing a game. And then I've also got my phone where I'm answering text. What happened to my life that I am doing all these things at the same time? All right, so Emma's saying, a red flag for autoimmune issues is how your body responds to temperature. Most of us have a difficult time with hot and cold. Yeah. Jody, I did want to say one thing, and it could be my imagination. I have a good one. But I have a feeling, and only time will tell, that some of the numbness in my toe from my diabetes appears to be lessening. I can actually move my toe better. Now, I've had that problem for 2 years, where, my toe got numb, a little bit numb. And I'm not joking. And, where I really couldn't flex it properly. And I don't know how to say this, but I've noticed that isn't happening. I've noticed that my psoriasis on my hands hasn't flared up for months, a couple of months now. So whatever I'm doing to combat the diabetes appears to be doing some good stuff. All right, Jody is saying to Kerry, all my all-time favorite from a company called Origins is Peace of Mind. It's available at department stores that have Origins counters, but Bath and Beyond works. It also sells peppermint lotion. Okay, so you're saying put the peppermint lotion on your temples. Get Mr. Amazon to deliver some peppermint lotion if you haven't. What you're saying is that more regular stores are now carrying. I quite honestly, Jody, my supermarket now carries quite a range of those sort of things. Well, Jody, you say it's amazing about my toe, but I don't think I'm imagining it. Okay, so rub it into your temples for a migraine and under your nose. Huh. I often wonder whether Vicks would help. I found that Vicks, really is a cure-all for so many things. I'm pretty sure that Vicks vapor, whether it's eucalyptus, right? It, does good things. Yeah, Kerry, I really hope that, something we can come up with. Emma, do you suffer from migraines at all? I must admit, if I want to get rid of a migraine, I get really very strong with myself. I go, migraine means shut everything down, go to sleep. And the other thing is to be realistic about how long it takes for a migraine to settle down. Sometimes it can take me a couple of days. Jody, I would say about 36 hours for me to get rid of a migraine, even if I take, 8 hours sleep or whatever. Okay, so a date piercing. I'm scared to ask where that is. And you've heard it works well. I want to know it works well before I started piercing myself anywhere strange. Okay, I thought we'd do a couple of quotes. Oh, it's the little cartilage in your ear, really? Yeah, that's the other thing. Have any of you done acupuncture? No, the question is, have any of you tried reflexology? Isn't it that you hold your nose here and pull down will get rid of a headache? Why do I think that? No. I'm trying to remember what this. I think I got a feeling it. Hi, Beth. Beth, we're talking about. Originally, we were talking about the total waste of time of worry. No, not a nosebleed. I think this has to do with a headache. It helps clear. I think it helps clear the sinuses, and those sort of places that cause that as well. Jody, I'm thinking about the pressure, the not primrose, the peppermint oil on the temples. Why? Yeah, hang on a second. Let me just see if I can find out what it's all about. Really worth checking, Kerry. I would start looking at reflexology and seeing where in your body you need to be applying pressure to help you with that level of migraine all the time. It sounds to me that you've got incredible amount of migraines going on, more so than your average person. All right, Beth gives herself a shot for migraine. She goes to a migraine doctor. Okay, good night, Emma. Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. I'll try not to choke to death while you're gone. I'm just going to see if I can find this. No, I don't know if what I've typed in will. No, I can't find it. But I'm pretty sure that it was, you just hold, you know where the solid bit is in your nose, you just hold underneath there and pull. I know it drains my sinuses beautifully. So, just one of those things. But I remember a reflexologist telling me to do that, but I can't remember why. Oh, all right. So it's the base of the thumb and the index finger. No, not peppermint lotion. Peppermint oil is what you want, Kerry. It's different. Okay, so it's in here that you press at the base of, is it here? Oh, or in the center here, Jody, where the two, if you drew the line, do you hold there? Oh, lotion as well. Okay, good. Okay. So, Kerry, are you hearing this? How did she find that information so quickly? Okay, so pinch between. Am I holding the right place here, Jody? Just so that. There's a lot to be said for reflexology. I want to tell you something, Kerry. I'd be looking into it. And, just find out what you can do, because it sounds like, why would that work? But I want to tell you that you will be amazed how these little things can work. These little reflexology things can work. And we'll wait until Jody comes back with the correct answer on that one, because she's so good at this stuff, really. Yep, that's what I thought. It's right here. All right, so if you draw a line here, that's the point, right, where the two meet is here. So the thing is, it's difficult for me to do because of my long nails. But the question is, do you do it on both hands? I don't know. Is it only on, if you've got the pain on the left side of your brain, do you do the right side? I would imagine. Normally it's diametrically opposed. If the pain is here, then do this one. I'd have to do a bit of research on it. So thank you, Jody, as usual. Really interesting stuff. So I'm going to do a couple of quotes and let's see what we can conjure up for ourselves. Beth, how are you doing, by the way? And how is stuff at work? I've been thinking about you quite a bit recently. Because I keep thinking that all that you did to expose the problem probably has had some good and bad reaction for you. Left hand only. There you go. All right. Now, Kerry's not here at the moment, but just remind me to mention that when she gets back. All right. So listen to this one. This is a quote. And it says, worry does not empty tomorrow of its sorrow. It empties today of its strength. All right. So when you worry, you are taking your energy and wasting it. If you want to be happy, don't dwell in the past. Do not worry about the future. Focus on living fully in the present. How many of you have noticed that, when you go, I'm not going to worry about tomorrow. I'll let tomorrow sort itself out. I'm just going to concentrate on what can I do today. I tell you, the amount of freedom that you can feel is just surprising. It's like your whole world changes. If you had told me a year ago that it would take me a full year to downsize my house and get it ready to show, I would have laughed at you and said, no way. But that's what it took. And, I am so glad I just did it one day at a time at my speed. And I got there without a whole series of stress. I am busy trying to, in my planning stages, how do I move without any, with a minimum amount of stress? And there's part of me that says, maybe I just leave the house, and let somebody walk in and pack it all up, deliver it to the new place, and then I'll go to the new place. If I find a new place, that is. But I'm literally going, if I had a magic wand, what would I want to have happen? It's just like, and I like to think of that, because it helps you realize what you need to organize. My magic wand is that I literally don't want all that stress. Well, how do you not worry about it? How do you not have the stress? Kerry, while you were away, we found out that it's use your right hand on your left, that this line here where your thumb meets your index finger, press in there. And you might want to look that up in reflexology and get a better idea of how to do that. But I just want to tell you, I found that, some of the pressure points it really help with things like this. Also, Kerry, I'd be looking into Louise Hay and find out what Louise Hay has to say about migraines, because you really have more than your fair share. Is it pronounced Hegu? Hegu. Interesting. I didn't know there was a word for that little bit piece right there. Learned something today. It's so exciting. More smiling, less worrying, more compassion, less judgment, more blessed, less stressed, more love, less hate. That's not a bad way to live. Let's work on that this week. Okay, let's see what Beth had to say. Work is going well. You all received your back pay. 5 additional store managers have been fired. Wow. Sales up 50%. We're at the top of our district. I'm not surprised at all. Well done. Well done, Beth. I'm so proud of you. Don't waste your time in anger, regrets, worries, and grudges. Life is too short to be unhappy. Life is too short to be unhappy. Yeah, I think that's a really good mantra for the week. Right? What do I need to do to stop being unhappy? And, the reason, Kerry, the reason I was talking, Kerry, about, have a look at Louise Hay. Sometimes Louise Hay has a very simple answer to things that are, going wrong with our bodies. Let me see if I can find it for you. Because just hang on. Let's see what we can find here. Of course, I took the one where it's not. Here we go. Well done on the mammogram, Beth. It's so funny. I phoned to book mine, and they said you're a year too early, and not due until September or something. Okay, let's see if we can find this for you. Here we go. M's are a long way down. Uh-oh. And then I hit the wrong thing. Yours is next month. Well done, Jody. We're pleased about that. I'm going to find this. This time I'll try to hit the right page. Getting closer. All right. Migraine. All right. Kerry, listen up. Louise Hay says that migraine headaches are a dislike of being driven, resisting the flow of life. So if you feel that people are trying to get you to do things you don't want to do, that will create a migraine. All right. And so how do you fix that? You actually, put some boundaries down. That should help. So to me, you have a look at what is going on in your life. And is there anywhere where people are trying to get you to do something you don't want to do? And the resisting the flow is also an important one to look at. Are you really standing in the way of something happening? Are you really trying to control the world rather than let the world unfold as it should? So those are two things that you might want to look at. I quite often, when I have these things come up, just check to see what Louise Hay says, and I'm amazed how often they're relevant. Beth is saying she's only struggling with the heat. Yeah, Jody is too, because of her MS acting up in the heat. You feel weak sometimes. Yes. Has anybody tried that little mini air conditioner thing? I've been dying to ask the viewers whether anybody's had one of those. I've noticed that they've gone from being about $20 up to being over 100. So obviously, or they were about $45, and now I notice they're selling for over 100. But I just wondered if anybody had tried them, because it makes sense to me that you just cool you, not the whole room. So to me, it makes an awful lot of sense. If it works. And I just, would love to know, even if people are watching on the replay, if anybody's bought one of those little baby air conditioner things. I find that For example, if I get too hot, Beth, and I don't know if this works for you or not, but if I get too hot, it's a trick that I learned in Africa. If I start to get overly warm, I just go and take a lukewarm shower. It just cools the whole body down. And by the way, what I do is I get into the shower at normal temperature and I just keep turning the heat down a little bit. And I can end up nearly having a cold shower doing it that way. But what it's doing is it literally, you can feel it just draining the heat out of your body. And then I actually get out and I don't dry myself. I literally let the ambient air dry my body. And it's amazing how cooling that is. Yeah, Kerry's saying it's so hot today, it's 94 with the heat index. Yeah. And so, again, I would recommend, even if it means showering 3 times a day, you will find that you will feel so much better. Right? If you cool your whole body down. Now, Jody, in your case, a trick that I taught Yvonne, and it's really amazing how well it works, is if you've got a long scarf, or if necessary, what would be big enough? I'm thinking a light towel. But anyway, some material. If you got some material anywhere, a dress you could do it with. Just literally get it wet and wring it out so that it is wet but not dripping. And lie down and put that over you. You will be amazed what it does to your body temperature. Kerry, same thing. And what happens is that as the heat evaporates the moisture in the dress, in my case, I've got a long scarf that I do it with. The heat, literally will start evaporating the water, the moisture in the scarf, and you end up, your body temperature just drops amazingly. All right, so Beth says, at work I wear a neck fan and an ice pack around my waist. Wow, an ice pack around your waist. That is interesting. You have a long scarf, Jody. Have you tried it? I want to tell you, when you get too hot, just lie, if you're in your chair, or, I personally do it in bed. And I will, even try it on your legs. All right. And the other thing is, how many of you have watched cowboy movies where they've got bandanas around their necks? Jody, even wet that scarf, all right, and then just roll it around your neck. Okay, so you did try it last year and it was brilliant. Yeah. I keep remembering the cowboys weren't stupid with those bandanas, right? There's a reason why they kept they put water on the bandana and then tie it around their neck. Again, because as the heat evaporated the moisture, you would be cooling the blood level going to your head. It's a brilliant idea. So sometimes that's what I do. I take my scarf, wet it, and do that. I caused quite a scene when I was at Disneyland with the Travises that year, when they took me to Disneyland. And, it's interesting because what I did was I took, I've got a short-sleeved cardigan. And, each time I went to the washroom, I would literally rinse out the cardigan and then, take most of the moisture out of it. Think about this as well, Jody. Take most of the moisture out of it. Hang on, let me get it so you can see. Okay, so this is the cardigan, and I've got another one in a different color. So you can see it's sort of like almost a netting. But I literally would dunk it in the water and then, take all the moisture out of it and then put it on. And, it was funny because Auntie Val and the rest of them are all looking at me like I was insane. And they said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Air conditioning." And they went, "What?" And I said, "You have no idea how cool I'm about to be." And I'd put it on damp and then walk around. And as I walked around, the heat was evaporating the moisture in here, and it pulls the heat out of my body. And it was great. And, it's just like, it's such a simple trick. So whether it's a scarf around, or even, if you wear a scarf and you let it, fall down your body, a damp one. So just try it. You don't, I really, Kerry, I would definitely try it. You may take a nap. All right. But then that says that you may not. Okay. So I'm presuming that Kerry, like me, does not have air conditioning. So that's why I'm trying to think of ideas that will help her if she would like to be helped. Yeah, Jody, it's a very simple thing. Number one, take a shower. I literally, when it gets really hot, it never gets really hot in British Columbia, but when it does get hot, I can shower up to 3 times a day just to cool down my body. Okay, you do have air conditioning. There you go. So help me understand. So if you've got air conditioning, why does the temperature outside affect you inside? It's 70 in the house. You're lucky. Mine's 80. Yes, but what's going on outside shouldn't affect you inside. That's what I'm trying to say. That's really weird to me. Why does the temperature outside affect you inside, Kerry? If you've got air conditioning and the house inside is 70, you should be perfectly comfortable. That's why I'm confused. And I must be missing part of this. Yeah, I must be missing part of this story. Because if I've got air conditioning, what's going on outside isn't going to affect what's happening to me inside, because inside the temperature is only 70. So whatever's going on outside is not affecting my health. Yeah, that's why I'm saying that's why I don't understand Kerry's logic. Now, I'm certain she's telling the truth, but I need to, I've got a feeling I'm missing part of the story. Because, here we go, because I have to go in and out with Dora. That makes sense. You have to go out with the dog. Okay. And then you had to go out to get lunch and your paycheck. Nice thing to go and get. Yeah, it's 84 your work. I would like to suggest, Beth, that that actually is an unhealthy work climate. So do you have air conditioning in the store? . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . I would definitely be talking to management about that, because I believe, that there should be a range. The new air conditioner is coming. The tornado took out the other one. Right. It's right. So there you go. You're getting it fixed. That's the main thing. All right, good. Okay, Kerry, I'm glad that makes more sense to me now. It's only when you get out that it's horrific. Okay. Yeah, which is totally understandable. All right, so, I must be missing something. How can, if your temperature inside is 70, how come the outside is a problem? If you have to go up, then it's a problem. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Anyway, so that's the thing, Kerry. If you've got a shirt or something that you can literally dunk in the water and squeeze it out before you go to walk Dora, put it on wet, and you'll find that you'll be cool for most of the walk. Have you, if, a baggy shirt or a baggy top that you can wear over your normal, whatever you're wearing, for example, something like this, which is pretty thin, I could wet it and maybe have something underneath it, but it does work. Okay, so Beth is saying they're fixing it because Beth told the district manager that it was so hot in the store that the candy bars were melting. They acted really quickly. Didn't care about the staff as much as the candy bars, right, Beth? Oh, that's losing us money. We better get that fixed right now. Well done, Beth. Yeah, that's called high motivation. I'm very proud of you. That is what I call very clever negotiation. We really need an air conditioner. Oh no, well, you'll get to it. Yeah, your candy bars are melting. Your money is melting. Oh, right. I'm still struggling with the Heimlich thing. Okay, so let's do a few more of these for us. All right, the Dalai Lama said, if a problem is fixable, if a situation is such that you can do something about it, then there is no need to worry. If it's not fixable, then there is no help in worrying. There is no benefit in worrying whatsoever. How many of you have learned that one? By the way, there's no benefit in complaining, right? So, to me, this is like, do something. Worrying is carrying tomorrow's load with today's strength, carrying 2 days at once. It is moving into tomorrow ahead of time. Worrying doesn't empty tomorrow of its sorrow, it empties today of its strength. We heard him say that. Marcus Aurelius said, never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. And the more you pray, the less you'll panic. For those of you who have faith, right? The more you pray, the less you'll panic. The more you worship, the less you worry. You'll feel more patient and less pressured. How many of you have faith and do that? You pray your way through. Right. Kerry's saying, I'm not complaining about my issues because it doesn't do any good to complain. It gets you nowhere. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I keep saying, what can you do? It's not a case of, That sounds almost, Kerry, you'll forgive me, I'm soldiering on. That sounds, what's the word? Almost like a martyr, right? It is what it is, right? And so, but Kerry, I look at it and I go, aren't you grateful to have air conditioning? And I really, really encourage you to try that next time you have to go out into that heat. Literally take something and rinse it out and put it on, as you're driving your car or, whatever. I don't have air conditioning in my car. And so the other thing that you might want to do is take a spritz bottle with you, and spritz yourself, because literally the heat on the moisture will help. Yes, Beth is saying her little pup has to go outside, but it's so hot that she carries him to the grass because the pads of his feet burn so easily. Yes, that's a very good point. What do you do if it's that hot? What do you do? Do you do anything to protect Dora's feet? And is it necessary? That's a very good point. Yeah, we're so busy talking about our heat, but what about our puppies, right? So that was the thing. Whenever I saw that one of my dogs was too hot, right? So poor Dora and I can't walk her because it's so hot. Her pads will burn and blister. Okay, so wait a minute. Now I'm totally confused. All right, never mind. So here's what I would do. One of the things I used to do if it was getting really hot is that I would make sure that I took a towel that was wet and I would wipe down Bean or Bud beforehand, and get his coat really wet before I took him out in the heat. For the same thing, as the heat, you might want to think about this for Taylor. If Lionel's taking Taylor out and it's really hot, which is that literally spritz him down before he goes out. All right, so good point, Beth. Thank you. The sign of burning pads is when a dog licks his pads after walking. And Kerry's saying that her pads will blister as well. Do you have doggy shoes that you can put on her? Well, Jody, the thing is this: if it's that hot, all right, if it's sort of up in the 90s, low hundreds, whatever, it really just, get Lionel to carry two things. You make sure that Lionel carries something where he can give Taylor water if he needs it, but also, a spritz bottle is really helpful for, cooling him down if he starts to get too hot, or even cooling his feet down. Okay, so your front and backyards are both fenced, so you can take her out for a quick break and come in quickly. Okay, so that's fine. Peanut is 19 years old. Skin's thinning out just like a person's skin when you get older. Yeah, I know about that one, Beth. I found my brain's getting thinner too. How would your life be different if you stopped worrying about things you can't control and started focusing on the things you can? Let today be the day. Let today be the day that you free yourself from fruitless worry. Seize the day and take effective action on things you can change. And Ralph Waldo Emerson said, sorrow looks back, worry looks around, and faith looks up. Yeah, you're saying that after you come in, you're going to wipe her down. All right, I would do it before you go out as well. It really will help. And the other thing is, if she is really hot when she comes back in, literally again, take a shirt and just wring it out and then just put it on top of her. Yes, Beth is saying to stop worrying equals happy and productive. I woke up today, I'm good to go. Yes, that's, I am amazed how many times I wake up in the morning and I go, oh, I woke up. Good start. All right. So I think, it really is a mentality. Yeah. And somebody said that whatever's going to happen will happen, whether you worry or not. Okay. So, if you believe in life, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Now, there's some things that, you can change and work on the things that you can change. You can't change that the temperature is 94 outside, right? And that's what the temperature is. That's reality. But you can change what you do to help Dora or Taylor or whatever, or yourself. So you don't have to be that uncomfortable. If you really suffer from the heat, maybe taking an umbrella out, which a lot of people do, and if the heat is too much, they take an umbrella to protect themselves from that heat. And what I would do is I'd spray the inside. I would spray the inside of the umbrella. All right. So again, as the heat hits the umbrella, it would release that moisture. And or I'd have a spritz bottle that every now and then I spritzed up into the umbrella. And so J.R.R. Tolkien said, the whole thing is quite hopeless, so it's no good worrying about tomorrow. It probably won't come. All right, so Beth is saying, Kerry, drinking a lot of water because it's hot will not only help you cool down, but ease the migraine. If you're hot, you probably are a bit dehydrated. Yes. Take a shower, drink lots of fluids. I want to tell you that the cool your body down is really an important part as far as, you can put an ice pack to your head or you can go and stand in the shower, and the shower will cool your blood level all the way through your body, not just your head. So you're drinking so much water, you feel like a fish. Good. That'll help your body as well. The Dalai Lama said, if you have fear of some pain or suffering, you should examine whether there's anything you can do about it. If you can, there is no need to worry about it. And if you cannot do it, then there is also no need to worry. Worry itself is an illness, since worry is an accusation against divine wisdom. Criticism of divine mercy. Hang on a second, what's Kerry saying? What is the best thing for you, honestly? Yeah, either inside or outside. That's what I'm saying. Beth said, I was desperate at work and bought a small ice pack and had no shame in putting it around down the back of my pants. Yeah, this is what I love about this is you're always finding the next answer, Beth. It's no wonder. Maxwell Maltz, who he writes some really interesting stuff. He said, times will change for the better when you change. Times will change for the better when you change. And so I think that part of this whole discussion today is about why waste time worrying. You have better things to do with your very precious mind than worry, because worry is a total waste of time. Complaining is a waste of time. Do something. And, you know, ask for input, get ideas. I think it's great that Kerry did that. You know, get ideas and then do something. I want to tell you that, Beth, part of the reason why you are as productive as you are is I really think you just get on with things, all right? You don't spend a lot of time complaining about things. You just deal with the reality. And, you know, that's a very healthy place to be. And I think it is absolutely wonderful that you managed to get the problem sorted out at work and that you are doing so well. And I'm very, very happy for you. And I really think that, you know, you deserve it. By the way, are you still doing the other job on the side? You know, the janitorial stuff? I also, Beth, I would recommend that you get your co-workers to, you know, you got some really nice spritzing bottles in the dollar store. And what I would do is just spritz the air around you every now and then, because it's amazing how that will help as well. You know, literally, it's an instant cool down of the air around you. I've done it a lot at events when people get really hot. I'll just walk around with a spritz bottle and I will spritz people. And they go, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to cool you down." They go, "Wow, that's amazing." I go, "Yep." The magic of a spritz bottle. And so, you know, I would, and also, you know, sort of where your customers are, just, you know, spritz that area every now and then. It'll help cool the air down there, Beth. And again, remember the scarf around your neck. Wet that scarf and put it around your neck, Beth. It'll keep you more cool than you can believe. And then just every time you go to the washroom, rinse it out again and do it again. Just spritz it a bit more with your spritz bottle. So I hope we've given you some ideas about what to do about the heat, as well as some ideas about why worrying is a total waste of time. I really want to say that life is what it is. The weather is what it is. I've learned, I'm actually really fortunate because I lived without air conditioning in Africa. To me, I cope fairly well in the heat, and yet other people will come into my house and go, "Wow, how do you live in this heat?" And I go, "Very easily, thank you." Because when it gets too hot, I go and shower. And then it'll last me for a couple of hours. And if it gets really too hot again, I'll go and shower. It's quite simple. And so, you know, it's like we all do what. Oh, guess what? Now it says I did hit the. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so it wasn't showing on my phone, but I apparently did hit the fasting button. I have done 14 and a half hours and I have 3 hours to go, people. 3 hours and 19 minutes. You know how much fun I can have in that time. Distraction is the name of the game. Jody, I want to really thank you for not even convincing me to try the fasting. Quite honestly, it was the opposite. When you started to talk about your fasting, my eyes were rolling like, how could she do this? This is so dangerous, da, 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 da. And then I started to research it. And then everything I read, I went, no, it's not as dangerous as I thought. It's actually a very good thing to do. And then I thought about all my Muslim friends who celebrate Ramadan, and I'm going, well, they all fast from sunrise to sunset. So, and they do it every year, so it can't be that bad. And I started to think about it all logically. So, Jody, thank you for the motivation. I really appreciate it. And thank you for all the help you've given me on diabetes.
because without a doubt, you have been an incredible source of information and support. And it wasn't until today when I was talking about it, Jody, that I realized that I can move my big toe in a way that I haven't been able to. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's the placebo effect. I don't know. But I can tell you I have more feeling in my toe than I have had in a couple of years. Weird. Don't know what the answer is to that. And maybe it is because I've adjusted my diet. By the way, Beth, I couldn't help but think of you when I was sitting here with these cucumber slices. I sliced the cucumber this way. And, and I put a piece of bacon on top. I thought Beth would be so proud of me. I don't know why. I just thought of you, Beth. So, and this is what breakfast looks like now. It doesn't look like necessarily eggs and bacon. It looks like bacon on top of a slice of cucumber. And one of the viewers wrote to me and said, bacon with avocado on top apparently is another really nice little snack. I've got to try that one. I haven't tried that one yet. Jody, I am off to go and do the second part of your video about how to make bread without getting your hands dirty, i.e. kneading. I've done the first part of it, and I am now going to do the second part of it, so I hope you will enjoy it. By the way, Jody, I literally make tomorrow's bread. I start today. So it's a 24-hour process, but no kneading. A couple of forks do a great job. All right, so Kerry's saying, I've been fasting in a way because it's so hot, I am not hungry until later in the day. I want to tell you something, Kerry, it's really weird. I actually have to remind myself in those 6 hours to eat, because you get into the habit of not eating. Jody, do you find that as well? You sort of get into the habit of not eating. And then there was a point last night, Kerry, where I went, what is the time? And I went, it's 10:30. I need my treats. And I literally went to the fridge and got out my treats and went, okay, fine. I can have these quickly before 11 o'clock because I start my fast at 11 each night. Yes, that's interesting. It becomes a challenge to get your calories in. I'm done without trying. I am done under 1,000 calories a day. That's got to make a difference. And I'm not trying to eat under that many, but that is what I apparently am doing. So I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm looking forward to seeing the results of that. I am going for overweight. That is my goal. I do not want to be obese anymore. And I've got a long way to go. But I can do this. I can do this. All right, so Kerry's saying, I've been drinking water and snacking as I get hungry, but I'm not as hungry. I'll have a sugar-free popsicle or applesauce. Yeah, you know what I find really interesting? Jody, I don't know why, but by doing the fasting, I am not snacking the way I used to. It is really weird. It's like, I will have my food, and then a couple of hours later, I'll have the meal. And then a couple of hours later, I will have the late night snack. And it's amazing to me. If you told me that I would be doing that, I wouldn't have believed you. And then I start the fast again. So I'm going to get busy occupying my mind for the next 3 hours by doing the video and maybe editing another one. I'm hoping that this helped a couple of you, and it will help a couple of people that watch it on the replay. This is DearMamaSal saying, hey, be happy. Really. Just it is what it is. Deal with life and be happy if you can. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, look after one another, please. And but most of all, watch out for those doggies' feet. That's a really good reminder. Thank you for that, Beth. For those of you who've got puppies, if the heat is really getting up, I'm just wondering, Jody, I know that you care a great deal about these things. So maybe can we do a little bit of research, find out whether Vaseline on the bottom of the feet helps, for example? What tricks can we find for people that will help with doggies and their hot feet when they go out? Because it'll be of use to you. Yeah, it'll be of use to you, and therefore we can share it with the other viewers. Okay, this is Dear Mama Sal saying, look after one another, but look after you and your pets in this hot weather. Have a happy summer. Bye-bye for now.